We wouldn't be here without the amazing support from Greenhalgh, who have a superb new location at Helm Mills, Basingstoke, offering everything from a virtual office address to dedicated offices, all with brilliant business support. Find out more at greenhalgh.co.uk.
Hi and welcome. This is You Are Not Alone, Conversations for Mental Health and Wellbeing. I'm Marie and I'm genuinely really glad you're here and listening. So a little bit about me to start. I'm the Relationships Director at Inclusion Education and I've spent over 17 years now working for the charity, building programmes and education provision that support young people with mental health needs and neurodivergence. Alongside that, I'm an author. I'm also a community ambassador for Child Bereavement UK and I write a monthly column for Fusion magazine. But as well as all of that, or beyond all of that, I'm someone who just really believes in the power of talking more and of challenging the stigma or the awkwardness or the barriers around talking about our well-being and about our mental health. And I care deeply about diversity, inclusion, well-being and mental health. So last year I had the privilege of leading the Baton of Hope event in Basingstoke, and honestly it's an experience that stays with me and I think will always stay with me, because what really stood out, it was the honesty and it was the community. People spoke about things that we don't always make space for in our everyday lives. Mental health, struggles, loss, but hope. And these were real people, real conversations. And these conversations can be uncomfortable, but I really think they're so needed. And ever since then, I've just found myself coming back to the same thought. Why don't we talk like that more often? So not just at big events, not just when things are reaching crisis point, but in the middle of our everyday lives. Because the truth is we are all carrying something. Sometimes it's visible, but sometimes it's tucked away behind busy schedules, work, family life, or just that expectation that we have to just keep going, hold it together, just cope. And too often we don't know where to turn or we don't feel like we can. So this podcast is a small, but I hope important step towards changing that. It's about creating space for conversations that feel real, relatable and accessible. So not clinical, not overwhelming, just real. The kind of conversations you might have with someone you trust, or the kind you wish you could have with someone. So each episode is going to focus on something that many of us experience, but we don't always talk about. So things like feeling overwhelmed when everything is just too much. Loneliness, even when you're not physically alone. Why talking can feel so hard, even when you know it might help. High functioning anxiety, when everything is looking fine on the outside, but really isn't on the inside. And pressure that so many of us carry. And alongside these conversations, we'll do a few really important things. I want to shine a light on local support because I've learnt, so through Baton of Hope, through my work at Inclusion Education, through events, networks in and around Basingstoke, so I've learnt there is incredible support out there, but people don't always know about it, or they don't access it until things are feeling really difficult. So part of this podcast is about connecting that up, making it easier to find help, making it feel more normal to reach out, and reinforcing the message, you are not alone. You don't have to do this by yourself. We'll also keep things really practical. So at the end of each episode, there'll be one thing that you might want to try that week. So not a list, not something overwhelming, just one small step. Because when life feels heavy, small is good. Small is manageable, and it's where things often begin. So the series is going to start soon, And each episode is going to connect with wider conversations that are happening nationally as well. And we're going to start with an episode on that feeling of too muchness. So when everything feels like it's just piling up. Now, I want to be really clear. This podcast isn't about having all the answers. I definitely don't have those. And it's not about fixing everything. And it's definitely not about replacing professional support. But what it is a place to start conversations, to normalise them, to make things feel less intimidating, and hopefully to help people feel a little bit less alone. Because if there's one thing that I've learned through work, through Baton of Hope, and just through life, it's this: talking matters, connection matters. Even when it feels hard, even when you don't quite know what to say, even when all you can manage is, I'm not sure I'm okay, that counts, and that matters. So wherever you're listening from today, whether you're walking, driving, just taking a few moments, you're so welcome here. There's no pressure, there's no expectation, just a chance to listen on a topic and take from it whatever feels helpful. And before we move into the first episode, here's one small thing you could try this week. Just notice a moment in your day that feels even slightly good, just a little bit calmer than the rest. It might be a bit of fresh air. It might be a nice chat with someone. It might be something blooming in your garden. Just a tiny moment. It might be a great cup of coffee. Nothing big, nothing complicated. Just notice it. And if it feels helpful, you can even make a quick note of it. And you could just put it on your notes app on your phone. You could jot it down in a notebook. Just a word, a sentence, something to come back to. And it's really just about noticing a moment, because sometimes that's more than enough of a place to start. At any point during the series, if you do need more support, I'm going to share options in each episode, both locally and nationally, so you know where to go if and when you need it. So thank you for listening, thank you for being here, and let's start this conversation together.
You've been thinking about launching a podcast, and it's a great way to promote your business. But where do you start? You have so many questions. What equipment do you need? How long should an episode be? How do you get listed on Spotify? About Basingstoke is the answer. We're professional audio producers with decades of experience. We can advise you on your podcasting strategy, record your episodes, or show you how to do it yourself, get you listed on all the major platforms, and help you understand audience building and ways to turn listeners into leads. Find out more at aboutbasingstoke.com/podcasts. Oh, and if you think you have to do video because who listens to audio these days? Well, you're listening to this, aren't you? Get professional podcast advice and production. Visit aboutbasingstoke.com/podcasts.